The restaurant was almost empty that evening. Rain tapped on the windows in a gentle rhythm. It was one of those cozy, tucked-away cafes in a quiet part of the city, the kind of place that made you feel like you were stepping into someone's warm memory. Lena moved quickly between tables, her apron stained with coffee spills and tomato soup. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and glanced at her watch. Nearly 7 p.m. Her shift was almost over, but she still had 3 more tables to clean and a child to feed. That child, Timmy, sat quietly at the corner table. He was 6 years old, small for his age, and blind since birth. His dark glasses slipped down his nose as he reached out, carefully feeling the edges of the table. His hand knocked over a salt shaker. He gasped, pulling back like he'd broken something precious. Lena rushed over. "It's okay, baby," she said gently, wiping the spilled salt with her sleeve. "It's just salt. Nothing to worry about." She glanced around to make sure no one noticed. The owner had warned her before, "No kids hanging around during your shift. This isn't a daycare." But she had no choice. Timmy's school ended at 4, and she couldn't afford a babysitter. She fed him quietly at the back, gave him crayons even though he couldn't see the colors, and prayed the owner wouldn't come around when he was there. That night, a woman entered the cafe. She wore a sleek black coat, high heels, and sunglasses even though it was cloudy outside. The hostess greeted her with a nervous smile, recognizing her instantly. Amelia Drake, billionaire, philanthropist, known for her cold demeanor and sharper tongue. She didn't wait for a table. She picked one near the window, sat down, and placed her designer handbag on the seat beside her. Her presence changed the air in the cafe. Quiet murmurs began. Curious glances followed her. Lena hadn't noticed her yet. She was too busy feeding Timmy with a spoonful of mac and cheese from a takeout container. "Open up, sweetheart," she whispered. Timmy opened his mouth obediently. His lips curled into a soft smile. "Is this the cheesy one?" "Extra cheese," she said, brushing his hair back. From her table, Amelia turned her head. She watched the scene unfold, a waitress feeding a blind boy from a container she probably brought from home. The boy laughed softly, completely unaware of the world watching him. The billionaire's expression remained unreadable, but she didn't look away. Later, Lena returned to her duties, wiping down a counter while keeping one eye on Timmy. She didn't notice Amelia walk up to the counter until she spoke. "Excuse me, is that your son?" Lena froze. She turned slowly, trying to hide the panic in her eyes. "Why, yes. I'm sorry. He's very quiet. He doesn't." "I didn't ask if he was disruptive," Amelia interrupted coolly. "I asked if he was your son." Lena swallowed. "Yes, he is." There was a pause. Amelia's eyes softened just for a second. "Bring me a cappuccino, extra hot, and one of those lemon tarts." "Yes, ma'am," Lena replied, rushing to prepare the order, heart still pounding. She returned a few minutes later with the items. Amelia took a slow sip of her drink and studied Lena with a kind of look that made people uncomfortable. "What's his name?" she asked. "Timmy. Blind." "Yes. Since birth." "Must be hard." Lena didn't answer. She didn't know if it was a statement or a question. Amelia tapped her perfectly manicured nail on the cup. "You feed him during your shift?" "I try not to let it interfere with my work," Lena said, voice low. "You know you could get fired for that." "I know. And yet you still do it." Lena didn't reply. There was nothing she could say that would explain it all in one neat sentence. She had been abandoned by Timmy's father during pregnancy. Her parents had disowned her. She worked double shifts, took night classes when she could, and still came home to wash Timmy's clothes by hand because the laundromat was too expensive. Amelia stood up and walked to the corner where Timmy sat. He turned his head toward the sound of her heels. "Hi there," she said, surprisingly soft. Timmy smiled. "Hi. Do you like lemon tarts?" He nodded. "I don't know what they look like, but Mom says they taste like sunshine." Amelia actually smiled at that. "Would you like one?" Timmy turned his head toward the sound of Lena's voice. "Can I, Mama?" Lena hesitated, then nodded. Amelia placed the tart in his hands. Timmy felt it carefully, then took a tiny bite. His face lit up. "It really does taste like sunshine." Amelia chuckled softly. Then her face grew serious. "He's special," she said to Lena. "You know that, don't you?" Lena nodded slowly. Amelia didn't say anything more. She left a $100 bill on the table and walked out, her heels echoing behind her. The next morning, something strange happened. Lena got a call from her landlord. He told her someone had paid 3 months of her rent. Then, when she arrived at work, the cafe owner called her into the office. Lena braced for bad news. Instead, he handed her a letter. No name, just an envelope. Inside was a check, $50,000, with a note that read, "He deserves the world. So do you." A stranger who saw the light. Lena's hands trembled. Tears filled her eyes. She didn't tell anyone, but deep inside, she knew. It was Amelia Drake. But why? Why would a billionaire care? That night, she saw Amelia again. The woman was sitting in the same corner booth, sipping cappuccino. Timmy heard her voice and smiled. "It's the lemon tart lady." Amelia smiled back. "That's me." Lena walked over, her voice quiet. "Did you leave something for me?" Amelia didn't answer directly. "I've seen a lot in this world. Greed, betrayal, fake smiles, people pretending to care. But last night, I saw something real." She gestured to Timmy. "That boy has more joy in his pinky than most billionaires have in their whole lives." Lena didn't know what to say. "Come sit," Amelia said. Lena hesitated, then sat. "I had a son," Amelia said, eyes focused on the window. "He died when he was 10. Drunk driver. I was at a board meeting when I got the call." Lena gasped softly. "I had all the money in the world, but I couldn't save him. I couldn't even say goodbye." Her voice cracked slightly. "Seeing you with Timmy, it reminded me of what I lost, of what really matters." Silence hung between them. "I can help you," Amelia said. "With what?" Lena asked cautiously. "Everything." Amelia pulled out a business card. "There's a private school for blind children, best in the state. I fund their scholarship program. Timmy's name will be added tomorrow. No cost." Lena's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you doing this?" "Because it gives me a reason to breathe." She stood, placed the card in Lena's hand, and walked out. Over the next few weeks, things changed fast. Timmy started school. He was given a cane, special books, and teachers who helped him develop confidence. He even learned to play piano by ear. Lena enrolled in a nursing course, paid for anonymously. But still, something didn't sit right with her. One night, she decided to visit Amelia's office downtown. Security tried to stop her until she said her name. They let her up immediately. Amelia's office was large, elegant, and cold. Glass walls, silver furniture, a massive painting of a stormy sea. "Why me?" Lena asked, standing across from her desk. "There are so many people who need help." Amelia leaned back. "Because I don't believe in random meetings." "What do you mean?" "Do you know the name of the driver who hit my son?" Lena shook her head. His name was Aaron Peters. The name sent a jolt down Lena's spine. Her breath caught. That was Timmy's father." "I know." Lena sat down, stunned. Amelia stood and walked toward the window. "I hated him. For years. I wanted him to rot in prison. He fled after the accident. Disappeared." Lena whispered, "He disappeared from our lives too." Amelia turned around. "Then one night I see his son laughing. Happy. Blind, but still shining. And I realized maybe I wasn't meant to punish the past. Maybe I was meant to protect the future." Tears spilled down Lena's cheeks. "I never knew." Amelia walked over and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You didn't have to." They stood in silence, two women forever connected by one man's mistake and one boy's light. As they parted that night, Amelia said something Lena would never forget. "Keep raising him in love. That's the only revenge against a broken world." And as Lena walked into the night, she held Timmy's hand a little tighter. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew this. Everything had changed, but the story wasn't over yet. Not even close. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The city's winter crept in slowly, coating windows with frost and sidewalks with a thin layer of ice. Lena's life was no longer about survival. It was transforming into something resembling stability, though the edges still trembled with uncertainty. She had enrolled in a practical nursing course and found herself surrounded by people who had dreams, people who spoke about plans for the future instead of simply enduring the present. But every evening, when she picked up Timmy from the specialized school and listened to his excited chatter about Braille books, music notes, and new friends, she remembered the quiet sacrifices that built this moment. Her silent prayers whispered in dark alleys, the nights when sleep meant hunger, the mornings when hope was thinner than the cracked soles of her shoes. Timmy's growth was astonishing. He learned to navigate the hallways of his new school with his white cane, tapping softly, head held high, steps confident. He began playing piano, fingers dancing over the keys like they had a language all their own. His teachers said he was gifted, not just musically, but emotionally. He had a sense of people, of intentions, of moods, in a way that felt almost magical. One day, while Lena tied his shoes, he said, "Mama, that lady with the lemon tarts, she has a sad song in her heart. But I think she's trying to change it." Lena's hands froze. She didn't have the heart to explain to her son that some sadness stays, like a song on repeat, no matter how many new melodies are played over it. Amelia Drake had kept her distance since their last conversation, but her presence lingered like a ghost in Lena's life, appearing in anonymous donations to the school, surprise payments on overdue bills, and the envelope Lena found under her apartment door one evening containing 2 tickets to a local symphony. No note. But Lena knew. She always knew. And she couldn't deny it. Part of her had started to admire Amelia deeply, almost painfully. What began as silent gratitude slowly evolved into a complex admiration, and perhaps something more dangerous, emotional dependence. But it wasn't just about money or favors. It was about the way Amelia had seen her, really seen her, and chosen to help without demanding anything in return. That kind of mercy was rare and terrifying. Then came the storm. It was a Thursday. The cafe was quiet, rain lashing the windows like angry fingers. Lena was working a short shift to make up for tuition fees that the course didn't cover. The bell above the door jingled. She looked up and felt her breath catch in her throat. It wasn't Amelia this time. It was a man, tall, rough around the edges, his jacket soaked through, his beard untamed. His eyes searched the room like a wolf, sniffing for something familiar. She tried to ignore him, but when their eyes met, her stomach twisted. There was something in his gaze, something she thought she had buried years ago. He walked to the counter. His voice was low. "Is your name Lena?" Her hands trembled as she gripped the coffee pot. "Depends on who's asking." "My name's Aaron. Aaron Peters." Her world tilted. She couldn't speak. Her fingers tightened around the pot. She wanted to scream, to throw it, to call the police, but her feet refused to move. "I'm looking for my son," he said. "You don't have a son," Lena snapped. "You lost that right years ago." "I know I messed up," he said, and for a second his voice cracked. "I just want to see him. Once." Lena stared at him like he was a hallucination. The man who had abandoned her while she was pregnant. The man who had disappeared after killing a child in a drunk driving accident. And now he wanted to see Timmy? "No," she whispered. "You don't get to just walk in here and ask for that." "I've been clean for 4 years," he said. "I've done rehab. I've been in therapy. I found out about Timmy from someone who saw him at the school. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to ask." Her heart raced. How did he find the school? Was Timmy safe? Was Amelia in danger now? "Leave," she said, her voice firm. "I'll be back," he replied, gently setting a folded piece of paper on the counter. "That's my number, if you change your mind." And then he left. She stared at the number for a long time, anger swirling in her like a storm without an eye. Later that night, she called Amelia. Her hands trembled as the phone rang. "Hello." Amelia's voice was calm, but not cold. "He showed up," Lena said. "Aaron." There was silence on the other end. Then, "Did he hurt you?" "No. But he wants to see Timmy." I said no. "You did the right thing." "I don't know what to do," Lena whispered. "What if he shows up at the school? What if he takes him?" "He won't," Amelia said, her voice now sharp with protective fire. I'll make sure of it. How? Lena asked. There was a pause. Let me handle it. The next morning, Amelia's black SUV was parked outside Lena's apartment. She didn't call. She just waited. Lena came outside, surprised, and got in without asking why. I had him followed, Amelia said. He's staying at a cheap motel on the east side. Registered under a fake name. Lena turned to her, shocked. Why would you do that? Because people like him don't get second chances with children, Amelia said, eyes hard. And I won't let your son's life be disrupted because a ghost decided to return. Lena didn't speak. Do you want me to make him disappear? Amelia asked, voice calm, almost too calm. What do you mean? I mean I can make sure he leaves the state. I have people. He won't bother you again. Lena looked away, her thoughts spinning. That night, she stared at the paper with Aaron's number. Then she called. I don't know what you're doing here, she said. But I want to meet. One time. Alone. They met in a public park. She saw him sitting on a bench near the duck pond. He looked smaller, more fragile in daylight. I'm not here for drama, Lena said. I just need to understand. Why now? Aaron looked up, eyes tired. Because I saw a picture of him. In a brochure. For the school. I knew he was mine the second I saw his face. Don't romanticize this, she snapped. I'm not. I'm just trying to fix one thing in my life. She looked at him. You killed a child. Amelia Drake's son. His face fell. I know. She's the one who's helped Timmy. Everything good in our life, right now, it's because of her. I want to say sorry to her, he whispered. She doesn't want your apology, Lena said. She wants your absence. Aaron nodded. I understand. I won't come near your son. I swear. I just needed to see someone who remembered me as something other than a monster. Lena stood in silence. She didn't know what to say. That night, she told Amelia about the meeting. You gave him mercy, Amelia said. I wouldn't have. He looked broken. So was I. They sat in the car in silence for a long time. Then Amelia turned. I've been offered a position on an international board for child advocacy. I'd have to relocate. Europe. Lena's chest tightened. When? 2 months. You're going. I haven't decided. They looked at each other. You saved us, Lena whispered. Amelia smiled, but her eyes were glassy. No. You saved yourself. I just lit a candle in the dark. As spring approached, Lena found herself wondering what life would be like without Amelia's shadow in the background. Could she do this alone again? Could she be both the light and the protector? Timmy asked one night as she tucked him into bed, Mama, is the lemon tart lady sad again? Lena kissed his forehead. Maybe a little. Can we send her a song? A song. Yeah, one I made up. It's called Second Chances. Lena smiled through her tears. And somewhere in a penthouse suite, a woman with more money than she could ever spend sat by her window, holding a small envelope with a recording inside. And as she pressed play and heard a little boy's soft voice sing a melody made from nothing but heart, Amelia Drake, for the first time in years, allowed herself to cry. The news of Amelia's departure arrived with a subtle weight, like the first leaf falling before autumn storm. Lena watched her go, with a strange ache that she couldn't explain. Amelia had never really belonged to her, nor did Lena expect her to stay. But there was something about a woman like that walking away that made the world feel colder, a little emptier, as if the safety net that had once caught them in freefall had quietly been rolled away. The final hug they shared wasn't filled with words. It didn't need to be. Amelia whispered, "Call me if you ever need anything." Anything. Then she stepped into her sleek car and disappeared, her driver whisking her off to the private airstrip. Lena stood in the silence of the departure and realized how deeply Amelia had embedded herself into their lives, not just through the expensive gifts or the school tuition or the second chances, but through her presence, her belief, her ability to take a broken world and offer a hand to someone still crawling through the rubble. Timmy sensed the shift too. He didn't speak much that week. His piano keys were quieter, his laughter muted. Lena didn't push him. He had always been sensitive, intuitive in ways that transcended sight. She knew he was processing it in his own way. But the calm did not last. It started with a missing item, Timmy's music player. Then Lena noticed the door to the apartment was unlocked one night when she returned from work. She scolded herself, thinking maybe she forgot in the rush, but a cold thought crept up her spine. Days later, a Braille storybook was found open in the hallway, even though Lena distinctly remembered leaving it on Timmy's bed. It was too small to report, too vague to act on, but not small enough to ignore. Then came the note, folded neatly and left on the kitchen table, though Lena was sure she had locked everything before leaving that morning. It simply read, "He's mine too." She crumpled it with shaking hands, dialing the police, then hanging up before the first ring. What would she say? That someone left a note? That maybe someone broke in? Or maybe she was losing her mind from stress and the haunting ghost of a man who claimed redemption? Aaron. He had promised to stay away. Sworn it. But promises meant little when made by those desperate to fix their shame with presents. Lena didn't sleep that night. She sat by Timmy's door with a kitchen knife in hand and every light in the apartment turned on. But nothing happened. The next day, she went to the motel Aaron had mentioned. The manager told her he had checked out 2 weeks ago. Gone. No forwarding address. And no trace. She visited the school, doubling down on Timmy's security. Extra cameras. Password changes. Trusted contacts listed. It was only then that she learned a man had come by asking questions the week before. A reporter, he claimed. Mid-30s. Facial hair. Asked about blind children's routines, pickup times, even bus schedules. The receptionist had dismissed him, but Lena's blood ran cold. She didn't need confirmation. She knew it was him. She called Amelia. No answer. No response to texts either. Lena felt the walls closing in faster and faster. She pulled Timmy from school for a few days and stayed home, barely eating, jumping at every noise. The fear clawed at her until her skin felt raw from stress. And then the worst happened. It was raining hard and fast. Lena had just turned away for a moment to grab something from the car parked outside the pharmacy. Just a second. Just one. She turned back and Timmy was gone. The cane lay abandoned by the bench. She screamed his name, searching frantically through the lot, her voice cracking, throat raw. People came. Police were called. A search began. But in her heart, she knew. He had come back. He had taken him. The apartment was searched. Security footage pulled. A blurry image confirmed her fears. Aaron. Hoodie up. Holding Timmy's hand gently, leading him into a black van. No plates visible. No direction traced. Lena broke down. Her son, her reason for every breath, was gone. The police did their best, but days passed with no word. No leads. No ransom call. Just silence and a mother's scream echoing through the void. And then, 1 week later, a letter arrived. No envelope. Just a folded sheet left outside the cafe where Lena used to work. He's safe. I'm giving him the life I never could. He deserves to know the full story. I know you hate me. I deserve it. But I'll die before I hurt him. One day, when he's ready, I'll let him choose. A. The letter broke something inside her. She handed it to the police. More searches. More frustration. More silence. Then a miracle. A tip from a gas station owner 2 states away. A blind child playing piano in the back of a dusty diner. A tired man with a scruffy beard watching proudly. An arrest. A recovery. Timmy was found in a cabin by the lake, untouched, unharmed, confused but safe. He clung to Lena when he heard her voice, his little hands trembling. "Mama," he whispered, "I thought you weren't coming." Aaron was taken into custody quietly, peacefully. No fight. No protest. Just a sad smile as Lena passed him in the hallway. She didn't stop to speak. Her silence said enough. Later, she sat with Timmy in his room. He looked older somehow, as if the week had aged him. He held her hand and said, "He told me he was my dad." She nodded slowly. "He said he made a big mistake, but he loved me. He was wrong to take you," she said. Timmy was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "But he didn't hurt me. He just told me stories." We sat by the fire, and he said he wanted to show me the stars, even though I couldn't see them. Lena blinked back tears. Sometimes people do the wrong things for what they think are the right reasons. Will I see him again? I don't know. She didn't tell him that Aaron would likely spend years in prison, or that she hoped he would. But that night, when Timmy played a song on the piano he called Stolen Days, Lena sat and listened. The notes were haunting, beautiful, painful. Just like the truth. Weeks later, Amelia called. I heard, she said softly. I came back as soon as I knew. Lena didn't ask how she knew. Amelia always had a way of knowing. They met for coffee, no longer patron and waitress, but two women scarred by life, bound by something deeper than friendship. I wanted to kill him, Lena confessed. I would have helped you, Amelia replied without hesitation. They laughed. It felt foreign, but good. What now? Amelia asked. I rebuild, Lena said. Again. You're strong. I'm tired. I know. They sat in silence. Then Amelia said, the board still wants me. I leave next week. Lena looked at her, heart heavy. But this time, she was ready. You'll change lives there. And you'll keep saving yours here. They hugged, longer this time. And as Amelia walked away, Lena didn't feel abandoned. She felt honored to have been part of her orbit. Years passed. Timmy grew into a gifted pianist. His story, once whispered in police reports and courtrooms, faded behind the louder notes of success. He composed symphonies that moved the world, blind eyes still closed but heart wide open. He never forgot his mother's strength. And one day, as Lena sat in the front row of a grand concert hall, she felt a hand slip into hers. Not Aaron's, Amelia's, older, grayer, but still her. I told you, Amelia whispered, he was destined for something great. Lena smiled, tears in her eyes. So was I. And as the curtains rose and the music filled the hall, two women, wounded, resilient, extraordinary, sat side by side, watching a boy who had once been lost play a song called Mother's Mercy. And in that moment, everything broken was whole again. The end.